Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So I may look a little bit crazy right now because I have all my makeup done and no eyeshadow whatsoever, mascara or anything like that, so I may look a little crazy. But I'm gonna just be focusing on my eyes today, and our topic for today is toxicity. So who's ready to get your feelings hurt? And all jokes aside, it's not to ever offend anybody or anything of that nature, but it's encouragement to change, and discomfort causes change, and change is the gateway to growth, and we need to all grow, and while that may be scary to a lot of you guys, myself included, you hear the word change and you want to run for the hills, but it's important, and we all need to evolve in life and really look ourselves over and go from there. So we'll get started. Okay, so as I said, that my topic today is toxicity, and while I jumped on the topic of change, I think those two things go hand in hand. And you really, if you become so unwilling to move and grow in life, that becomes toxic, and that becomes toxic to you, but not only you, it becomes toxic to other people, because if you're not willing to adjust and grow in life, you become stagnant. And I don't know about y'all, but stagnant is not a place that I want to be. It's not a word I want to be described as. And I feel like throughout my life I've been so afraid of change and unwilling to move, and being so rigid, and rigid behavior is not good, and that takes God having to break you when you become so rigid and unwilling to move. It really takes a more forceful hand to deal with you, and how much of that we could avoid if we would just be more willing to go where God leads us, and adapt and evolve into who God wants us to be. I think that really can become so very toxic to yourself, and other people as well, your loved ones. And you see all these people around you moving forward, but you're not. I know that I've been there, and that's a terrible feeling, to see your friends and family and everybody growing and changing, and you feel like, well, why can't I? But it all comes back down to your heart issues, and why you're not willing to grow and allow yourself to move forward. And I don't necessarily know why that is, and why some people have struggles with it, like myself included. Why that's something that is hard to do. I do think that anxiety has a lot to do with it, because I know for me, I've been very anxious, and I overthink things a lot, and that has let me miss out on many opportunities, and I'm only holding myself back. And I don't want to be the person that's in my way, but so much of the time I am, and that's the same for y'all. I know that so many of y'all could relate to that, and say that yes, you feel that too, that you're your biggest enemy. So we really need to look at ourselves and evaluate who we are, and analyze our heart and our heart issues, and keep ourselves from being our toxic abuser. I spoke in another video that I had done about being your own abuser, and how our minds can be so abusive to ourselves, and that can turn into physical abuse against ourselves, self-harm. But we really just need to, I think, step back and take inventory of who we are. I don't want to look back years later and realize that I haven't changed, and that everybody around me has grown and moved forward, and I haven't, because I'm stubborn. Stubbornness is not a good quality to have. And sure, there's being stubborn in your values and in your morals and things like that is good, and that we need to be steadfast in. But other things we don't need to be so rigid in. I think it's very important for us to be an asset to ourselves. Well, it is. It's pivotal in life to be an asset to ourselves. And when I say that, I mean we have to be on our side, and so many of us aren't. That we allow our mind to be such a cruel place, and really set ourselves up for failure before we even get a shot at doing anything, because we've already decided in our heads, I can't do this. And that is so toxic, and that's so hard to break. Like, that's something that I've been going through for years, and it's a struggle, but to move forward from that is a decision. It's as simple as that. You have to decide to not do that. Those thoughts that you have to decide to change your thinking, essentially. And as dumb as that sounds, you have to. That is the answer to it. I know sometimes we want more of an extravagant answer and a checklist or to-do list of things that we need to check off to move forward, but it's as simple as taking your thoughts captive, and really controlling the mind. And that's an ongoing thing. You don't need to feel bad if that's something that you feel like you're doing, and you've accomplished, and you've gotten it down, and you're doing good, and then one day just bam, something happens, and you're back into that negative mindset. It's not something to ever bash yourself over or beat yourself up about, because it happens, and it happens to everybody. But it's important to not stay in that mindset. Allowing ourselves to sink in such a negative space is really our downfall. If I fall down, it's my choice to stay down. In every aspect of life, whether your marriage has ended, you got laid off, or anything in life, it's pivotal to get back up. And that's the same with our thinking. If you're toxic to yourself and you're mean to yourself, if you get knocked down one day or one moment and you have a negative thought, you got to choose to get back up. There's no easy way to do it. It's just willpower. And you really have to choose to move forward and to change, and you really have to, when those things come up, those toxic feelings that we have towards ourselves, really give it to God and ask for guidance and strength to move forward and change your thinking. It's so pivotal, and that's something that I think I'm not going to curse myself and say that I'll always struggle with it. It's something that I have struggled with a very long time. And I know when I get into one of those funks, that I really, if I allow myself to get so far down, I don't want to change. And that is dangerous, because you open yourself up for such dark depression for that, because you're already cruel to yourself. Now you don't want to change. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I've been there many times. People close to me have been there before, and it's a terrible place to be in yourself, and it's a terrible place to see anybody in. So I really want you guys to be cautious of that, and really mindful to take your thoughts captive. And when we're mean to ourselves and we have those toxic thoughts, it has a way of coming out of us towards other people. I know for me it has, and I can get pretty harsh and mean towards other people, even though I don't necessarily want to, but I get into the mindset that I don't care. And realistically, I never want to be that person, but it's easy to slip into. So it's really just important to, like I said, take inventory of your character and your thoughts, and just all of these things that make us who we are. It's very important to continuously reevaluate ourselves, and if there's something about me that I don't like, I need to change it. I need to move forward. I need to grow from it. And don't beat yourself up for having things that you don't like about yourself, but use it as motivation to change. But I know so many of us get ugly towards other people when the thoughts in our head are ugly. I mean, it's kind of inevitable, you know, if all you're telling yourself is hateful things, you're going to turn hateful to other people, and you're going to become a toxic influence in their life. Whether you want to or not, if you don't get a grip on yourself, you're going to eventually lash out at other people. And it's important for us to really gain control of ourselves and our minds before we say something to somebody that we can't take back. And I don't know about y'all, but for me, if I hear something, it's going to stay with me. It's going to stay with me. It's going to stay with me, and I will replay it, and I will replay it, and I will replay it. So it's very important to be cautious of what you say to people, because you can't take it back. Even if say I have forgiven whatever has happened, it doesn't keep me from replaying it in my head, and really just latching on to whatever was said. And I don't ever want to cause anyone to feel that way. And to ever, that's gonna be difficult to do. I don't ever want to cause anyone to replay my words over and over and over again, because I know how hurtful the things that I've heard are. I want to be somebody that is encouraging and who is kind, and I don't want to ever be the reason somebody feels some type of way about themselves. It would really, to know that things that I have said in the past or whatever have been those thoughts that you replay in your head, that would be such an eye-opening experience for me, because I'm sure that there are people who have done that and who replay things that I have said, but we don't ever hear that side of it. People don't really ever come forward and admit that, oh, something you said 2 years ago, I'm replaying and replaying and replaying and replaying, and you don't ever say that, because I mean, I wouldn't come up to you and say that, but it's so important to be very mindful of our actions and what we do to people. I had posted, or I had shared something on Facebook just asking for random advice, and a woman commented to be kind to everybody, because everybody is going through something that we don't know about. We're all fighting battles that others know nothing of, and it's important to be kind. And yes, that was, I mean, I've heard that before, but for someone to take the time and actually comment that to me personally, it really got me thinking that how true is that, and that we really do need to be kind. And even if the situation calls for stern and tough love, you do it with love. Don't forget the love, and that's something that I struggle with, is I'm all about tough love, but I forget the love sometimes. And that's not something that I want to do. I really just, I'm on the journey of bettering myself, I guess you could say. And I want you guys to be as well. I want us to all continue to grow and improve ourselves and be wonderful people and examples of God. I have 2 nieces and a 3rd niece on the way, and to be examples to them. I want to be able to move forward in their life and know that Aunt KK is a woman of God and a good woman, and not hateful and toxic and bitter. I don't want Aunt KK, me, to be the one that you learn how to be petty. That's not what I want. I want my nieces to be able to come to me and know, or be able to ask me, how do I forgive someone for what they did to me, and me be able to walk them through it. How do I pray? How do I do this? How do I, move forward and learn all of these positive things? I don't want to be the one that they come to and want to know how to get revenge. I think it's so important that even if you don't have nieces or anything like that, you still have an impact in the world, whether you want to or not. You do. I mean, to the person down the street, I'm bad about this. If you see me in person, chances are I'm going to look straight ahead and not anywhere around me. I'm not going to crack a smile. If you smile at me, if I don't know you, I'm going to probably look the other way. If I know you, then I'll be friendly. But I'm so bad about that. And that comes from anxiety. Like, it gives me just so much anxiety. To the thought of going up and speaking to somebody or smiling at somebody first. When I remember when I was little. Well, I wasn't even little. I was probably a teenager. I remember telling my mom that to smile without your teeth showing and then smiling with your teeth showing, that was such a level, like such a different level, that if you smiled with your teeth, it was too friendly. But how far being friendly goes for a total stranger. My mom, if you cross paths with my mom, chances are she's going to speak to you and ask how your day is going, or, how are you, and that goes so far with people. And it's such a genuine light that goes out to people. And I've been so guilty of not being a light to people. And I get wrapped up in my own head and let anxiety and all of these things, but it can translate as being rude and not caring about other people, even though that might not be true. We just really have to take a look at ourselves and really just decide who we want to be and what impact we want on the world, and I don't know about you, but I want to be a good person. I want to be somebody that is a positive light in the world, and I want my family to see that. I want my nieces to see that, and know coming up in life that I can be a source of God to them, and be a godly woman. That's something that I've been so blessed with throughout my life, is godly women, and I'm so grateful for that, because I've had very strong women of God in my life, and that have been such positive role models on me, and as I'm coming up in the next generation of my family, I want to be that. I want to be as fierce as my grandmother is. And I think it's just really important that we cut all the nonsense out of our life and move forward. But I guess I just want to just wrap this up by saying how important it is to continuously look at your heart and your character and your actions and what you're putting into the world and what you're doing to yourself, like what you're saying, your internal dialogue is very important, because everything starts there. It's hard to be a good person and a nice person when this is messed up. So I just really encourage you guys all to cut out the toxic behaviors, to cut out the cattiness, the pettiness, the rudeness, all of that out, and move forward as kind people. And not that kindness, I think we often look at kindness as being weak, but it's not. I think some of the strongest people I've ever known are kind in situations that are very difficult to be kind in, but they're still kind, and that shows great strength. So I really encourage you all to just take a look over yourselves, and keep taking a look over yourselves, and take those thoughts captive and move forward in life. And I want to move forward, and this message is just as much for me as it is for you as it is for me. So I really just, let's go. Let's be good people. Let's do good things. Let's cut out toxic behaviors. Let's move forward. I should have never sat in the spin chair, because all I want to do is swing back and forth. But let's woman up, let's man up, and really deal with ourselves and move forward. So I appreciate you guys for being here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you're at. And hopefully I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.